Hi there, church family. Do you find parts of the Bible difficult to understand? Job is one such part for me. It's one of the earliest written books in the Bible, meaning it's the furthest removed from our own culture and times. It's also written in a poetic style common to that day, where questions were asked but not always answered, and it was intended that you think about the answers for yourself. In the famous setup of the book, Job has had disaster befall him. He thinks, and actually he's right, that he hasn't done anything wrong, but that disaster has just happened to him. However, his well-meaning friends are basically accusing him of lying. How can things have gone so wrong, they ask, if you weren't sinning? In chapter 8, verses 20 to 22, one of the friends, Bildad, states it this way: "Surely God does not reject a blameless man or strengthen the hands of evildoers. He will yet fill your mouth with laughter and your lips with shouts of joy. Your enemies will be clothed in shame, and the tents of the wicked will be no more." Which is generally true. Generally, doing good will result in good outcomes. And we know from the perspective of eternity that God will destroy the tents of the wicked and will fill the mouths of righteous with laughter. But it's not all that helpful to Job. He is going through a miserable time, and his friends are actually making it worse. Paul tells us in Ephesians 4:15 that we should always speak the truth with love, and that is a great thing to remember. Speaking truth without love can sometimes be a bit grating. Both are needed when we speak, or we're not accurately representing the character of God. But anyhow, Job replies in chapter 9, verse 2, with a very insightful comment. "Indeed, I know this is true, but how can a mortal be righteous before God?" From our perspective, a mortal might look righteous, but compared with God, we're all rotten sinners. If God's going to save the righteous and punish the wicked, well, then we're all doomed. Job goes on to highlight God's wisdom in our foolishness, God's bigness in our smallness, and then wraps up this section in verses 33 to 35 by saying, "If only there was someone to mediate between us, someone to bring us together, someone to remove God's rod from me so that his terror would frighten me no more. Then I would speak up without fear of him, but as it now stands with me, I cannot." Job holds out little hope that this is the case, or that it ever will be. However, a new hope is mentioned in 1 Timothy 2 verse 5 when Paul writes, "For there is one God and one mediator between God and men, the man Christ Jesus." Job begged for a mediator but didn't think that one would come. Jesus came to be that mediator, to restore us into intimacy with God. He achieves all of this for us through his sinless life, his sacrificial death, and his resurrection that shows his defeat of death and sin. His work enables us to stand confident before God, knowing that no matter how many disasters have befallen us, we can trust that his righteousness has covered us. Let us hold fast to that in these uncertain times. Blessings.